Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and right now the difference is we're using this one, it's called after centralization. And the way that you still do the spending report, it's not going to change much. And I'll just show you where the difference is because I did some fancy footworks in the centralization piece.
Gotcha.
But that's not going to affect you running the spending report. But I'll go into that later and explain it. So anyway, and I did run the other reports, but we'll kind of go through it again. So that way you can just have a kind of, refresher. Or maybe I won't run the report itself, but I'll go open up, like Cognos, and just remind you what we have to do in there. So this is the last report and that I did. This is the final. So always go open the last report because it's going to be the most recent. And that's going to be important because of like these table corrections. At least I'll have the most recent of what I had found the last time. Other things too, like your non-chargeable promos, it's going to have the most recent ones. So the first thing you'd want to do is make a copy, make a new one. So that way we don't accidentally save over the old one because you always want to make sure we have a copy of the old one. For right now, I'm going to leave it in the archive and let's call this one. Let's see, this is not the 5 one. Let's see, this is the 7.3, but we don't want to call it that. We want to call it, we're going to call this one draft copy because this is the draft I had made last time. So while you're practicing right now, Selena, just make yours, call them copy. And right now I'm just keeping them in archive. You could put them in your folder or on your laptop if you want to, and that's okay too.
Gotcha.
So I think the goal, what you can start doing is I already did the one that's the most recent one for August 7th, which is today. You can go back and get the old one like I just did, make a copy of it, and then use that one to basically follow the same steps that we're going to do right now and create a copy of your version of 8.7.23 of the new one. So I went ahead and made the change. Again, I'm calling this draft copy because it's the one we're going to use for this exercise. And after I make I go ahead and make the copy of it from the previous one. I'm going to go all the way to this point here, AH, and then go all the way down. And the reason why, this is right here, this is all the data that we pull over, the raw data that then I go ahead and we do different conditional formats that we'll go through later. But for now, this is the data from the last report. So we want to go ahead and delete that. We don't want to go into this area. It says do not copy over from AI over because there's actually formulas in there.
Gotcha. Now, let me ask really quickly, though. You already have the Cognos query ran for this, so I don't have to rerun it.
Right. And I'll show you where it's at. So we went ahead and did that. We got this part.
Slow down for just one moment. And I'm sorry, I was following along, so I hadn't saved the file. I'm saving it right now. So I'll save that to my desktop. Okay. And it's 8.7, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready, Pat.
You ready? Okay.
Yep.
Next, I'm going to go over to the exclude column. I'm going to go into cell A3. And I'm going to highlight.
Okay, so hold on. Can we go back one more step? Okay, so you took all the data from the current and you're going to paste it into the exclude?
No. What I did was I highlighted everything that was the current, the old one. I highlighted it all the way across.
Yep.
Until I get to column AI.
Yep.
I don't want to get column all the way down. And all I'm doing is deleting it.
Okay.
Because we're prepping it for the new data.
Yep.
So you got that.
Okay.
So all you want to do is delete it. So that way
Okay.
you're going to start with a clean slate.
Okay.
And I'm going to put my cursor here on A3.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for the next?
Yep.
Now I'm going to the excluded tab.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to A3 on this side. I'm going to highlight the entire row. And I'm going to highlight all the way down to all the data that's in here.
Okay.
And I'm going to delete this.
All
And then
right.
again, go back to A3.
Okay.
So now we have basically we have everything prepared to start bringing the data over. So I'm going to hit save. This is probably a good save point. And then what I would do, now remember, I do have the reports already pulled, but we're going to go just to as a reminder where to go. Go to Cognos. And the HR and payroll reports, compensation, and we are going to look for finance history here, salary spending lab wide.
Okay.
So you're going to click on that. It shouldn't be running. Come on. It doesn't want to. Try this one more time. Cognos. You want to always go from October 1st of 2022. So you start from there and then to today's date. And then you got that right?
Yep.
And then just go and it'll run the report.
Okay.
And then from there, it's the same way that you would, download all your other Cognos to Excel. And we keep them all in here under spending reports. It'll just say reports. So you'll see in here, this is going to be your spending reports. The last one that I ran is this one here. So this is the one we're going to want to use.
Gotcha.
7. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull it up. And all this is the pure raw data. There's nothing that's been cleaned. And I mean, there's union, there's everybody in here. So whenever you run the spending report, you want to make sure you capture everybody and then we start excluding them.
Okay.
So that's the first report you're going to run. The second report you're going to run now is going to be the offer component details report.
Yes, and I'm familiar with how to run that report.
Okay, so you know how to run that one. And what I normally do with that one, let's see, I usually pull it in from here. What I normally do with that one is I only pull maybe about 2 months worth. I don't do the whole year.
Okay.
Because I already have pretty much the whole year, but I just want to make sure I capture everything.
Yeah.
So, and then for this case, for instance, I think I ran it from June 1st into today.
Gotcha.
And it's the same. So you know which report it is. It's this one here. It says offer component details report comp. Yep. So again, you don't need to run the whole entire year. I at least try to pick up about 2 months worth, 2-3 months. So that way you make sure you cover. And what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and not run it, but I'm going to go ahead and just open the report, which I have in here already. So that was the spending. And here's the offer component details. I think I had already went ahead and start hiding a bunch of it, because really the only things that I'm really concerned about is their employee number, their name, what division do they come from, when did they offer the actual start date, is it non-chargeable, and was it accepted?
Gotcha.
So those are the main criteria. So you can, I'm going to leave this as this, so that way, and then I'll show you what I actually pick up. So
Okay.
I'm going to just have this open in the background too. So first I usually go is I go and I get the employee and from, the employee data from the spending report.
Uh-huh.
So right now I'm going to go back to the spending report. I'm going to go here to, again, A2. I'm going to go all the way across to the end. I don't want to pick up the whole row though. I just want to go all the way across to AH. See how I picked it up there?
Yeah.
And then all the way down. So we should have 5,229 rows.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do Control C, copy. I'm going to go back to the report. You have the cursor in A3, and I am going to right mouse click, paste options. It's going to be values only. So all the values should paste in.
Okay.
Okay. And here you should just have your regular.
Everything should fill itself out.
Yeah, except for what's going to happen is it's not going to go all the way to, actually I did something different today. I'm going to show you what I did instead. Let me back this out. What I did instead of pasting it directly in, because what's going to happen, I know like right now our count is only going up to 3,000. We have 5,200, right? So I'm going to do is what I did earlier, and it made it a little bit easier, is I went ahead and let's see if I can just do this. No, I copied and pasted it over because for some reason it likes to get really weird. Control C, oops. Undo. Redo. Back to here. It gets really weird with the conditional formatting. And then you have to do all this deleting stuff. So I'm trying to see if I can get it to, let's see, we don't want to go that high. Probably about here. What I'm doing is I'm copying all of the conditional formats, and I'm copying all the other formats that are in there. So I'm just highlighting it right now all the way across, because I know that there was at least 2,000. Control C, and then I'm going to insert my copied cells here. Now I'm going to go get the data here, which I've already highlighted.
So you're only going to copy up to 2,000 something to begin with?
I copied 2,000 something to begin with, and then I inserted it back in. So now I have about 4,000 something. I need 52, so I'm probably going to be a little bit short, but that's okay, because I'll just go over there and I'll double check off to the side. I'll show you what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to do insert. Okay, and I'll show you why after when we get to the conditional format piece.
Gotcha.
Because I noticed something, I haven't had time to go investigate how to make this stop doing what it's doing. And it's just kind of annoying what it's doing, but it's not like you can't work it. And I'll show you what to do. Okay, see, we did cover it. Okay, cool. Because you can see here, it went beyond it.
Gotcha.
That copy paste, it more than covered. So that's great. Okay. So all of this down, I don't need. Oops, I need from here. That's right, because there's a formula in there too. Okay, now I'll show you why. Okay, another good point to save. So let's see, in here we have a conditional format, anything where I say highlighted in pink. I think this condition may have gone away. I'm going to do the conditional format anyway, though, to show you, because what happens is some stuff in Atris, is really bizarre. And it's like, well, we ended up having to manually make the changes in the spending report until Sheree is able to make the changes within Atris, and it looks like the changes may have actually happened. So I'll show you how I know that. But anyway, in the meantime, I still have a conditional format in there. So I'm going to just go ahead, highlight it all the way to the end. And the conditional format, what it's looking for is there's these 10 people that were in FA that have to be moved over to ops as of January 1st.
Gotcha.
So we go into manage rules, and what I can tell here, see, it gets kind of weird. What it does is it doubles what's already in there. Probably the normal of what was in there previously. This is like it did it again, and it's picking up from B 2030, 300 something to 5,000. Okay, so these are just like erroneous. So if I didn't do what I did earlier and did that copy paste thing, this would be even worse.
Gotcha.
I know that sounds weird, but I have to go research as to how can I make it stop doing this when I'm doing a template. So what I do for now, I know for sure where it's this 2000 something is not right. This B3, yes, it should start from B3. And I'm going to have to change where it ends because it's going to be a little short, but I'm going to worry about that after I get rid of this erroneous stuff. So I'm just delete. See, I can see where that 231 is. And then I'm going to stop. Here, I know the number is, it's like, I'm going to just say 5,300 to cover everything. So I know I'm going to go a little bit beyond. So I'm going to say that one. I'm just now copy paste.
Wait, I don't know why I'm not finding my conditional formatting under data. Where's conditional formatting?
It is, here, let me finish this first. It's not under, is it under data? You think I'd have that tattooed in my head? Yeah. Okay, apply, okay. Conditional formatting will be under your home page.
Ah, no wonder. Okay.
Yeah.
And manage rules.
So, and what you're going to be looking at is manage rules, right? So, and all I'm still doing is I'm still prepping. I'm not going to exclude anything or move anybody yet. This here, we're going to remove all the demotions, but that's going to be after. So there's no highlighted in pink on this one. This one here, we're going to get rid of the job code S45. So again, just highlight the entire row, conditional format, manage rules. Again, it's in here twice. I know this is the erroneous one because it starts at 2,300. Delete. This one, we're going to say 5,300 to make sure we cover everything. Apply. Okay. This one here too, this is what this is here is a count of how many pay actions are in this total report. So again, it should be starting at 3. I don't know why, again, why my numbers are just, they get all jumbled up when we remove stuff. So we want to start from 3. Everything starts from 3. And it's going to 5404. That's fine. It's more than covering the area because this is the total count that we started with, was the 28, right? So we went here, we covered this, we covered this. And this was something that Sita found this, that we weren't removing it. So I added it to the conditional format. So we just keep going across. Subtotals, what this is doing is counting dollar amounts. Again, it should always start with 3. And we're 5317. That's fine. It'll cover everything that we needed to cover for right now. This one, we're looking at zeros. That's all it's going to do is highlight in pink the zeros. So back to conditional format. We're going to go in here, manage rules. Again, 2 values. Here's the erroneous one, delete it. This is going to be the real one. It starts at 3, which is perfect. And we need it to end at, say, 5,300. So that way we cover it, apply, okay. So we're coming to this side here. Again, highlighted. It's going to be looking at the union codes. here we're going to go ahead and highlight both because actually it's looking for the same thing in the two columns. So I'm going to highlight both of them. Go look at conditional format, manage rules. And now this one's going to say from U3 because it's going to start from U to V. And again, we're going to change that to 5,300 after. But it's probably got the erroneous ones, which it does. So I'm going to delete, and which that means it just has two sets of them, right? We only need the one set. This one's starting from a weird spot because I did that copy paste thing. So I'm just getting rid of the erroneous ones. This one starts at U3 to V, we're going to say 5,300. Oops. We're going to copy. And then keep pasting. And you can see here, these are all of the, make sure that those are covered too. Those are all the correct, unions that we have to exclude. Okay, so they should all be covered now. Now here we're going to be looking at the info class. Again, these two are the same things that we're looking at. So we can go ahead and pick up the two columns. We're still doing conditional format because anything, remember you see that pink.
Yeah.
Manage rules. Again, let's go look for the erroneous ones, which are here. Oops. Let's highlight the whole thing, delete. And don't go too fast. Okay, these are the good ones. Again, from Y3 to Z, we're going to say 5,300. Again, we want to cover the whole range.
Okay. Can I show you something on my screen for one moment? Because it's throwing me off.
Hang on, let me fix this. I've kind of screwed it up. Okay. Let me finish this first and then I'll go because I don't want to. You want me to stop sharing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it's nothing. I'm gonna go in and fix it, but it's just a little weird that on my copy. Here we go. So if I go to conditional formatting, right, and manage rules. So I'm just gonna change this to like Y3 through Z.
Go to the top, see where you're picking it up. First close this all together.
Close it.
Okay, go to the very top. You're picking up from 3 all the way to where? Let's see, go all the way down. Okay. There you go. It should be to the 53. Did you get the whole thing to the 5,300 or 52, whatever? Yeah.
5230, yeah.
Close enough. Go to conditional format.
Oh, why do I want to keep doing that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Conditional format, manage rules.
Okay, go to the bottom. You got a bunch of blank ones for some reason. Delete
And
all.
those aren't supposed to be blank. Now
None of them should be blank. Why are they blank?
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going, but that's what's happening on my end. So
it could be the way that. Did you copy and paste the way I did in the beginning?
I thought I did.
Because it may not. You may not have.
You copied exactly to those rows, and you were in A3.
Yeah, when I went from A3 to like 2,300 or 3,000, something like that, when I very first did the blank ones, remember?
Yeah, I kind of missed that.
Okay, because that's probably what happened there.
Okay, so you went from A3 to 2,300. And what did you do after that? Did you pull the rows down or?
No, you can't.
You just highlighted that.
Okay, do you want to start all over again? Because it was, yeah. What I did was, I got to show you all the way from the beginning, yeah, because it's.
Yeah, let me see. I don't want to go all the way through it again. It's just that point.
I would do this because you got to look at how when I went and did when I showed you the second time, I go, oh, let me
Why
show
don't
you
we,
something. I'm going to highlight
why
these
don't we do
rows.
this? Why don't I get me a clean one?
Get rid of this one, start over. And wait a minute. Okay, yeah. You're in, let's see. Yeah.
So let me pull up the one from the web from the shared drive again. Sorry.
Because if
Whoops.
you want to do this, why don't you let me just go ahead and go through the whole process? And
And
if
then
you
just
want to
go
go
back.
through the video and try it that way,
Okay. Because I was trying to follow to make sure we got the same number at the end. But sorry, go ahead.
no, that's okay. But the thing is if you miss anything or if it's something's coming out weird, you can always back the video up
Okay.
and say, what happened? Let me see what I did different,
Yeah.
and then take it and then go back and then back back up your spreadsheet. Just,
Yeah.
just have back it up. So, but yeah, go back to the video. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen again,
Okay.
and then we'll do it like that. Okay.
That'll
Yeah. So that way you'll see, because again, what I did, and I even talk about, I go, this is how, how many, where I ended up, how much stuff that I copy and paste. And I took the
got
whole entire rows when I copied and pasted it. So that way, when you come over here, like I said, it's doing some kind of little weird thing, but you should be able to do your conditional formatting relatively easy. And here, see, it just doubles it. So I
got
copied and pasted from, from A3 all the way to row 2300.
gotcha. Okay.
And then I made a second, I copied that with nothing in it. All it was like, and here was empty, but off to the side from from where I have that orange and gray section where all of those formulas are. And it also did is it copies and pastes the conditional formatting too.
Okay.
So that's what you want to do. So in here, again, we'll go back, get rid of variable time, delete that one. And I'm going to go to 5300. And apply. Okay. In here, this is one of those situations, and I'm ready to actually make this kind of gray it out or get rid of it, because in the very beginning we had to change CY to LD. We didn't apparently, Shri, they hadn't fixed it. It took them a while, a couple of series of reporting, and it finally got fixed. So there is no more CY in here. Those have already been cleared out.
Gotcha.
And then we have these 10 employees that had to be changed from FA to OP, but that was only anything that was after January 1st.
Okay.
So we're not going to touch these yet until we start doing exclusions and all that. So later on, we'll get to that point where we're going to start doing that. And over here, that's why we went ahead and highlighted all of those people for conditional formatting for after. So okay, so we have most of this done here. This we don't really touch. This section we normally would have just pulled down, but because I did that copy paste thing before we actually put the data in, we shouldn't have to do that. It should actually already be pulled down to the bottom. Let's see here. Yeah, it went on, it's all the way down to the 5200. Yeah, 5230. Gotcha. So I know, and I could just double check in here. I see that the formulas are in there. I'm just looking up here at the top, and they're in there. So this is all good.
Yeah.
So right now, this is almost ready to go. I will make this a save point because it's a lot of conditional formatting that we have to put in there. So the next thing that we're going to do now is the non-chargeable promotions. And what I normally do, also at the same time here, the spending report, I go ahead and close this because it's really big. And also the spending report itself is kind of big. So the non-chargeable promotions, I just kind of copy and paste the employee number off to, so the first one is column A. And just so it's going to kind of line up with what I already have.
Gotcha.
Over here, I'm just going to make sure the hire reason is just non-chargeable. I don't want to see anything else. Okay. And that all the offer statuses were accepted, because we did obviously have somebody, refuse. So that way I know the criteria we've met. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this information over here. And this is everybody that fits the criteria from from June 1st all the way to today.
Gotcha.
The other thing that I've done, and I think I showed you this a while back, let me know later on if you don't have this. Oh no, go snooze. If you don't have this, is up here. I have this, I got this from the where you can change your toolbar. It's called
Oh, okay.
Select Visible Cells.
Yeah.
And if you notice, there's a bunch of hidden cells and stuff in here. If you don't use this, what'll happen if I do copy paste, it's going to bring everything, and I
Yeah.
don't want everything underneath. So I went select visible cells. I'm going to do copy, and then I'm going to come over to the actual report, and I'm just going to have it paste values. So what I also usually do is I'll come up here to this is what we have. I do another copy, and I just do paste format so I don't have to. And this is format here.
Gotcha.
Now it all matches. What I have in here is another conditional format, manage rules. And what it does is it just looks for duplicate values. Wait, delete. I could probably go to 200. So I know where I have this blank line here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and sort. Column B by date. And then just, I'm looking really from this point here. Who do I already have on there? So I know I have Wanda, I have Jim. So I can just go ahead and delete these guys. And again, I kind of do an overshoot of it because let's see. Next one is Lopez. Where? Okay, Lopez. So those are already there. And start, let's see, Willie, Margie, and G, Brown. And again, because sometimes you get people that do some weird retro stuff, you know what I mean? So that's the only reason I kind of go through this, but you don't have to, that's why you don't need to pick it all the way up from the beginning every year. Or every time you run a report. And so this one, see, it came in 724. It looked like these were all 8-1. This one was already here for 8-1. So we can delete you. And we can delete you. Okay, so everybody that's new is in here right now. I could sort it from effective date just so. The other thing too is they use this sometimes to check for your promotions after 4-1.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy if you sort it right. Here's just 4-1. Okay, here are all of your after 4-1s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, here's all of your, everybody's in here. Now the other thing too is I got to make sure because this is a table that's used in the SIP eligible. So to double check for the table, you want to go into formulas. You want to go to name manager. And if you see, this is the tab we're in right now, table FY23 non-chargeable. If you look at what it's saying here, these are all the name ranges, and this is what it's referring to.
Okay.
So if you look at table corrections, basically this is it right here. It's not table correction, non-chargeable, I'm sorry. NPR, table non-chargeable right there.
Okay.
Okay. So we have 2 or 3 of them. There's different ones that we're looking at. So the first NPR is non-chargeable promo. Obviously, we're using it for something that's probably, I'm pulling it for the eligible. And it's only going to 103. We're already at 107 down here on that row. So I would, just to be safe, let's say 150. Let it go a little bit farther than that. So yeah, that one. Oops, sorry, we need to look at the other one because there was another NPR too. So there's another section. It's also looking at it a different area. So we want to make sure it's also going to 150 because 103 is not going to be enough.
Okay.
So that one, we could just hit enter. And now that's going to, let's see, close. And then we have NPR for SIP. Still going non-chargeable. It's going to 118. So that one's still covering fine, but we could go to 150. Close. All right. So basically we know that that table is also updated.
Okay.
We have a lot of non-chargeables. So now we are at the point that we're ready to start actually, doing the exclusions. I'm going to close this file again because it gets, so it just gets too big. So now I'm going to start. I mean, you can go by order if you want to. The one I usually do towards the end is this one. I'm going to show you why. And again, I think this one might not be necessary anymore. So I'm not going to talk about this one right now. But I
Okay.
have them numbered like 1 through, 5. If you want to follow the steps exactly, you can. This is number 4. This is number 1.
Gotcha.
I'm going through it that way. But it doesn't really, it's not going to really make that big of a difference. I kind of like to do this one because demotions is a very obvious one.
Yeah.
Just kind of get them out of the way. And I'll start with them. And again, this time I want the whole row. And what I'm going to do again, I want to see is the ones that are visible cells only. This time I'm going to copy. And over here in excluded, I'm going to go into that A3 and I'm going to paste the whole row.
Okay.
I'm going to come back over here and then I'm going to delete these rows. So those are now out of the mix. And we're going to now go look for that one job code. This time I'm going to filter by color. Everything's going to be filtered pink. So these should be the S45, the visiting faculty. So I'm going to highlight again the whole entire row. I'm going to do highlight visible rows only. Control C. Put my cursor there. Control V. Come back and delete row. And then always remember to clear your filter because otherwise you can have some strange things show up or you might accidentally not exclude something that should have been. This one here, yep, it's at 53. I'm just double checking. This is for $0 amounts. Again, a lot of this is also noise, but we have to pick it all up just to make sure that we're picking up all of the pay actions. So everything in pink, highlight those rows. I think there's a lot of these. Oops. And this one takes a little bit because there's a lot of them. Okay. And again, this one takes a little bit.
Oh yeah, I could
Yeah,
see.
there's a lot of them, yeah. So there's a lot of noise in here that I have to eliminate to kind of get to the meat of everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because this one also had some interesting, that's why I wanted to kind of run it first too, so I wasn't like making you go through my thought process.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, because there was a few interesting things I ran across. I was like, oh, okay, good thing I ran this first. So it's still going. I think sometimes I go check my email. But it will catch up eventually. So just give
Eventually.
give it a minute. Give it a minute. Like, oh my gosh. I know. I wish we had a better way to deal with this thing. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Finally. Okay, so now we're gonna clear that. So now I'm gonna come over here for the union codes, again, filter by color. And now we're gonna be excluding all of the unions. All of their pay actions. So I gotta find the end of this one. Give it a minute. I think the longest ones are the 0 and the union codes. After
Gotcha.
this, it'll go a little faster.
I'm patient.
There's a lot of these folks. And then next year, we're going to be adding the project scientists, huh?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So most of them will get cleaned out from this first row, but you still have, believe it or not, you have a few that go the other direction. You go from 99 to a union position.
Gotcha.
So we're going to remove those. And the other thing too, this exclusion, it seems like a big waste of time. Why do we, save them? When we know that, hey, we're not going to use them? Because sometimes it'll happen that we accidentally exclude the wrong person.
Gotcha.
And also when you go through audit, they want to ensure that you have looked through the entire population and you didn't exclude anybody by accident. So those are two reasons. And I have gone back and gone, oh my gosh, what happened? Where's this person? Where are they? What happened? And I realized that they got excluded accidentally because maybe they had, I do have a person here that has 2 promotions in the same year. One of them is a non-chargeable, but the other one is not.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying? So it's that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, that's why it's like, I talked to, Sita, I go, you have to be very intimate with this data. You have to get used to what's going on and with who, and really look at it when things look weird. So Control C. But yeah, that's the reason why you want to hang on to your exclusion. And if you look at Matthew's stuff too, because he used to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think when he was doing all the SIP stuff or the reporting for DOE, I remember he used to keep them all together all on the same page. We just have different ways of doing it, I guess. So here's all your students, faculty. We're going to be excluding them. Let's see. Oh, see it. And the new employee class that actually kind of took care of that. So there is nobody in here. These are career, contracted, and limited. But now in here, I believe we're going to be removing variable time. Filter by color, again, only the pink. These are all your variable time. So highlight them, visible cells only. And I'm going to delete these guys. And again, it took care of it on that first round, so we're good there.
Gotcha.
Okay, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. In here, I'm going to go to this one after, because we know for sure there is no CY, right? And now I have to check for these 10 employees that do we need to change them from FA to OP? It was only for the time frame that was from January 1st forward. If anything was from October 1st, they're still FA. Once January 1st hit, and if there was any promotions or equities, then it goes to OP.
Gotcha.
Not confusing at all, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I gotta color these people. I can't remember every single time this whole list. So this is the folks in here. And I also have a copy of who they are in this corrections. I have a little table here that I had to make because otherwise I couldn't remember every time who they were. So these are all the folks. This one got hired later, and it just says the above are all in campus planning department. They were transferred from FA to OP on 1/1. So I pull them all up. The main thing I'm going to be looking at is anything that they had any merits or, you know, that thing, anything pay action during that time frame. These are the effective dates. So anything that was 10/1, it is what it should be. Let's see, I'm going to do that. I'm going to shut that one off. That one should be FA, right? So we're going to go here where I have the new division.
Okay.
And they're all FA. Yeah, so I was like, oh, maybe he fixed it. So I say, okay, now let's go take a look at what is the 2023, because anything that was after 10/1, this is March of 2023, that should be OP.
Okay.
And it is OP. Right here. So they fixed it. So what I'm going to do here, and I did this on my other report, is I came over here, I went to the home, I went ahead and I grayed this out. So we're not really doing it anymore. Neither one of these, because the CY is gone, it's no longer there. Actually, I could just make it, just empty it out. Because we're not doing it anymore, they actually fixed it. So there's nothing there that we need to fix anymore. And actually, we can even get rid of these, get rid of the conditional format for those 10 people, right?
Okay.
So anyway, so that's that there. And I did that on the new one. So you'll see that if you go practice on the new one later.
Okay.
So now I want to make sure all my filters are clear because we kind of went and took care of that. We know that that's not a problem anymore. That got fixed. So now we're going to start going into this section here. And this is the nitty gritty. Number 6, let's do this one first and then number 7. So number 6, the first thing we want to do is put the CPR reason code in column E. So we want to go over here to column E and we want all of our reason code to be CPR. So these are all of our correction codes. So the reason code in column E and then have NA in column AK. So here's column AK, and here it has to have NA. So we've got those criteria. So we know it's in CPR reason code. We know that now in column AK, we did all the NAs. Then it says exclude only rows that show an employee ID in column AM. So right now we are in column AM and we want to uncheck the blanks. So we only want to see where there's going to be an employee ID in AM. So all of these here, we are going to exclude. And what you're going to look at, we're going to look at these people here. Here's their names. Here's the correction tables. So there's 2 sets of correction tables. There's this first set that what it's doing, it's correcting a CPR to what the actual real thing was. It should have been maybe a promotion or equity. Maybe they put in $1 amount and said, oops, we were supposed to add another 100 and then call that a correction. So I don't know that it's really a promotion. I actually manually have to look at it. So that's one set of correction that have to happen. This will be automatic, it should pick it up in the SIP eligible. And then I have these in here that need to be removed. And what it will say is I'll have the reason in here of why. What's the reason? A lot of times it's OCAs that have been removed. And it comes across and it shows as a pay action of some kind, but I have to actually go into UC Path and look at it to see exactly what happened. So these folks, though, for sure, I know, like for, let's see, Jana Lee and Johnston. We go look in here. There's Johnston. Where's Jana Lee? There's Jana Lee right there. So you can see that they're part of that list.
Okay,
They show up, that's why their numbers show up in here.
gotcha,
It's pulling it from that list.
gotcha.
So we know that these folks, we can pretty safely say, yeah, we can go ahead and exclude them. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put them in here. And I'm gonna delete that row, those rows. I'm gonna clear, because remember, I have something in column E too. So I make sure that I clear all the filters. So now the next thing I'm gonna do here is we're gonna look at the non-chargeable promotions. We're gonna look at action reason and AK, because this is the action reason that it's actually picking it up. In some cases, remember I had to do that correction to change the action reason up there?
Mhm.
It's getting it from here, if it
Gotcha,
needs to. So what we're gonna do, because action reason, these are non-chargeable promotions, all I wanna look at in here is gonna be promotions. And we only wanna look at the ones that have a ID in there.
gotcha.
So I'm gonna take out the blanks. So all of these promotions here are all non-chargeable. There is a lot. Okay. So we're gonna make sure that we get these and exclude these. Now wait, before I do that, there's one thing in here. I just remembered, this is something that we just found out here. Out of these non-chargeables, there is one that has 2 promos. This is what I just told you about earlier.
Mhm.
This employee number here, this employee EE 10446859 has 2 promos in 1 year, but only one is chargeable. So what I got to do is go find that employee, that 104. Let's see what I can do here is just edit the comment. I'm gonna find that person. Nope, I already excluded them, I bet you, because they're not showing up in here. Oh, where are they?
Do you have a space before the one?
Oh, you mean when I put it in here?
Yeah, when you copied it.
There you go. Thank you. So there's the one that's for $1,100. It's this one here. So that one is chargeable. She has 2.
Gotcha.
So what I'm gonna do is this, I'm just gonna make this a color so that way we can pull her out after. Hang on for a second real quick. I have delivery at the door. I'll be right back.
Okay. Take your time.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is all of these are the non-chargeables here. Go back over. Is, and you bring her back. Let me delete this first. So I just inserted her back in.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to pull the. So we know she's kind of an outlier there. So, okay, so we took care of, made sure that we had all the non-chargeables. And again, if we go and do these. She should be the only one that shows up. And it's at 1116. So I mean, 66. So that's the person. That's fine on that one because we know everything is good there. She's an exception. It was really bizarre that was done. It's pretty rare. So you get 2 promotions in the same year. Okay, so at this point again, I would save. So we got pretty much everything cleaned up. Now, the biggest thing is before we move any more forward is to look at these action reason codes because everything that we're going to be pulling from the summary is actually pulling from here.
Gotcha.
So like there's lump sum conversions that if they're part of that table, because there's a bunch of tables in here that things are looking at to do conversions so that way everything can be converted into monthly FTE.
Okay.
So the one thing I look at is here. This would be next. And I look in here, I should only have 3 things, an equity, a merit, and promotions. So anything that is not one of those 3 things, I want to know what the heck it is and why it's still here. So in this case here, we have a transfer. It's like a $35, a monthly change. This person here, and what I'm going to do at this point, because I'm going to show you a few things of what I do. I'm not going to go through every single one because I actually have already done this and it's kind of time consuming. So what I would do though is basically go into UC Path. Let's see, I don't. Oh. Surprise is still open. So I'm going to do is to look for this person, this transfer. What is this about? It happened. I would look at the date, 3/21. And see what happened. So this is 4/1. Let's go back. 4/1, 3/22. So I think the date was 3/21. I said that the pay action happened.
Yeah.
3/21. So I bet you it has something to do with this here. There's a position change. There was a transfer. 3/21. There was a transfer. So they were hired on the 20th. No, I don't see anything here. This is position transfer. 9/21. No, I don't even see any real change amount in here.
Yeah.
Place. So this was just a transfer of some kind. So basically, I would do is in here, I would take this person, I would take this here, I would say copy, I go to table corrections. Actually, this person's in here already. Transfer removed. That's what it was. It was some kind of transfer. So here is the person's name.
Gotcha.
You should have picked it up. Well, I did it, and I didn't get it. Yeah, it actually did. But because I wasn't looking for a, it didn't come out as NA, it came out as transfer. So we can go ahead and exclude this. In here. I'm going to delete. So what you would do is do that with every single one of these. The next one we'll look at Hang Chang.
Are they already in your table updated though?
I'll show you my other table, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm going to clear, but I'll just show you the things that you know that you can want to look at because some of them are weird.
Okay.
I'll just do a couple though, but I'll show you the other table. Let's see where they go. Search. And again, I go back to when did it take place on 7/20/23, 7/20/23. There's a correction here. There's a promotion position change. There was a staff merit. Okay. The merit happened on 10/1. 7/20, there's a promotion, but I don't see any change in
Yeah, they
dollars
forgot
actually,
to change.
right?
They forgot to update his salary.
So the credit, this happens. So in reality, this 1,268 is really a promotion. That's what the correction would be. So what we would do is take this here, Control C, because otherwise we're not accounting for it correctly, right?
Yeah.
So we want to just do values here. So we know that this one here, and what it really is a promotion. And then I'll go ahead and put the dollar amount. I'll copy that, which is right here. And put that in there. So I'll show you from the other, but yeah, you have to go through each one pretty much. And then once you do that, see how I put everything in there? When you come over here, it's now picked it up as a promotion. So I think each one of these were something like that. These were corrections of some kind, but they were actually equities. But it's being picked up as a correction.
Yeah, that was my group.
Yeah, so those have to, oops. So those all have to have, we have to get them into the correction tables. So I'll show you, let me see if I have, because I know on my new one, I've already taken care of those. Corrections. So I think this was one of them here that I found. And then these here. So you go through each one of them, find out what they really are. And these were equities, but again, they were added, the monies were added after. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll update this table. And then this one here was, let's see, after the minutes. This one. These here too, you have to see if it's something to remove, because sometimes it's just a pay frequency change. And it comes across like as some kind of pay action. When OCAs are removed, it comes across as a pay action. And it's not. Yeah, so it's kind of, that's why some of these, it's like you have to go and really figure out what it is. And then I think this was the last one here. Okay, so I'm going to close this one. Maybe we'll close in a second. Just two big files open at the same time.
Yeah, I can see that.
But this is pretty much, I mean, this is the part that gets a little bit where you have to do you have to really kind of analyze things where it starts to, okay, what is this? Why is this here? And then, like I said, I look at dates, I look at what kind of pay actions happened, what took place before it. This looks more to me like it's it's a promotion or it's an equity, that sort of thing. And then I make the notation in the table.
Gotcha.
So we pretty much now have that all cleaned up. So you can see everything here. And then this one, who is this person?
I thought you just added him.
I did, and this was to be removed. This is the reasons to exclude, because it was actually just a pay frequency change, but it came out looking like it was some kind of an increased merit. So we're going to go ahead and put that person over here. And then I think we're done with the cleanup. Let's see. Let me do one last see. Everybody's in here now. Yes, we only have the three: equity, merits, and promotions. Clear everything. Yes. So now we're ready to start actually look at the spending report summary. So at this point, I want to see how many entries do I have in here. So the total is 3024. I want to write down 3024 so I remember. So that way when I go to start the summary report, I'll know what the last line of data that we have, last row.
Okay.
So now we're going to go into spending report. We're going to open it up here. We're going to go ahead and put today's date or the date of the report. Up in here, we want to go into column J, and it's going to be to August 7th. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to go in here. This is basically a pivot table from A through E. G through H is something that I add on that's also doing calculations from the pivot table, like to include lump sum merits, and then what we spent to just promotions and equity, because we have it broken out 3 ways. We only look at it 2 ways. So just make sure that your cursor is somewhere in the middle of the pivot table. We're going to go to analyze, change data source. And in here, we just want to make sure that we're covering 3024. So it looks like we have a little bit less, which is kind of weird. I have to look at that later. So we're picking up everything that we should be picking up. Go ahead and close it. And this should be what we have. This should be an updated spending report at this point.
Gotcha.
So right here off to the side, this doesn't get shown. This is 70%. Because Sita wants to know how much have we spent of the allocation. And so I'm running that little calculation just right here so I can tell her quickly, you know, right now we're at we've spent 70%. So we still have 30% to go. Every time I run this, I freak out over these two. And then I remember, oh yeah, they're part of the roll up. So they're fine. Yeah. As far as in here in the merit, at this point, Karen just used to be concerned about the totals here. And as long as nothing was too crazy. So these did overspend during that time frame, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The other thing that you want to look at is a division detail report in here. So I would put for today's date in there. And what we're going to do, same thing, kind of put your cursor somewhere inside of the pivot, go to analyze, go to change data source. And we should have, what did I say, it was 3024. Okay, we can refresh. And all this should be updated now. So right now it was just looking at, division MS. But that's pretty much it as far as all of that goes. And what Sita and I ended up doing, we talked about this and I was able to actually do it, centralizing all the SIP inside this one report.
Okay.
So what I did was in this place here, because I have all of these like arrays, I have some really fancy calculations that are in here. It's just looking at a bunch of different things. But in here, what I've done was I had it add or subtract from their balance. So the ones that they donated SIP, I had it subtract this dollar amount. So that way the balance, it showed the amount that they donated. And all the donated amount here added up to $39,000. But I have this, it says ABS, what that's doing is giving me an absolute number. So even though I'm adding negative numbers, it's giving me a positive number because I need a positive number. And that's how you do it. By adding all these negatives, I'm able to do an ABS. And from there, it's able to add up to here. So this is all the donated money. It's taken 39,000. And if we go up in here, it's picking up K45, which is this number here. So that's how I did the whole allocation into this one part. And then everybody that was on the wish list, stuck them in here.
Okay.
And then just said everybody was using reserve. So this is how much of reserve that we've spent, which is all it's doing is looking at everybody with an X and adding them all up, basically in this column here.
Okay, so if
how we know.
Sita has a round 2, I should enter it here.
If there's basically if there's wish lists and Sita's went ahead and okayed it, put it in here.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
we're still tracking it from here. Yeah. So we're able to still do that. And I told Sita, if we need to even do more centralization, we can, because she goes, I know, she goes, we still have some that didn't donate any. And like, for instance, AM, there's $13,000 still. So I don't know. I go, well, we're just going to kind of wait and see. But
Yeah.
the ones that
Oh no,
donate, like,
some more is coming through for that one. Bill's mom passed, so
yeah.
yeah.
So sorry to hear. Oh, that's right. They do a roll up. So in all reality, they only have 7,000, but still, yeah, I think they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'm expecting a few more to come in. So
Yeah, and the thing that made this not as crazy is that we don't have the ECS groups anymore.
okay.
So what I would need to do now is take a look and make sure that my numbers lined up with the last one that I did. So I'm going to still call this one draft copy. We can go ahead and check the numbers after, check and see, but that's pretty much it. So there's not a lot of changes that happened.
Okay.
As far as, I'm going to stop recording, okay?